on government employees associating themselves with the RSS, with the Sangh and its activities. On one hand, you've got RSS and, of course, the BJP welcoming the move. But the Congress has mocked it. Remember that it was in 1966 that the Indira Gandhi-led government had actually imposed this ban on RSS members being a part of bureaucracy. So today, they've said that you're saffronizing bureaucracy with this decision. All the details in our report first.
The Narendra Modi government has lifted a 58-year-old ban on government employees associating themselves with the RSS and its activities. The RSS has welcomed this decision, claiming the move will strengthen India's democratic framework.
वर्तमान के शासन ने आज उस पाबंदी को जो हटाया है, ये निर्णय समुचित है और भारत की लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्था को ये निर्णय पुष्ट करेगा.
The ban was imposed in the year 1966 when Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister. The order had put a ban on two outfits, the RSS and the Jamaat-e-Islami. The BJP says the ban was imposed weeks after an RSS protest against cow slaughter near the parliament premises. The demonstration snowballed, leading to violence, forcing the police to resort to lathi charge and firing. 7 people were killed in the clashes. The BJP claims the ban was unconstitutional.
वहाँ पे देश की भक्ति, भारत माता के प्रति समर्पण, ये सब सिखाया जाता है. अगर ये कोई सीखने का विरोध कर रहा है, तो उनको मैं दुर्भाग्य मानता हूँ.
The centre's decision has sparked controversy, with the Congress taking pot shots at the saffron camp by linking RSS Knickers to bureaucracy.
This is a very dangerous trend. The neutrality of the bureaucracy will become questionable. The bureaucrats and the government servants cannot be members of political organizations, and this will in fact shake the foundation of our neutral bureaucracy.
BJP-RSS relation is into a different level now, and Mr. Modi wants to please the RSS bosses by these kind of orders.
The lifting of the ban has reignited old political battles, reflecting deep divisions on this issue. While RSS claims to be a socio-cultural organization, its affiliates are active in politics, raising questions over the propriety of government employees getting involved in Sangh activities. Bureau Report, India Today.
And let's bring in Piyush Mishra, who's joining us live with more details on this. Piyush, good evening. You've been speaking, of course, to a whole lot of BJP leaders who've all welcomed the move, hailed it. But take us through what really prompted this decision at this time by the Modi government.
Well, if you talk about the decision which has been taken by the Modi government, Akshita, what we are now learning is that the kind of gap which has been reported across the media between BJP and RSS has somewhere prompted BJP to take some sort of decisions to bridge the gap. And that is what we are now seeing in the last few days, how the BJP government is trying to reconnect with RSS. Remember that during the Lok Sabha elections also it was alleged that BJP and RSS are now distanced. They have maintained distance. In fact, we also saw how JP Nadda had given an interview where he had said that now BJP is very much capable of fighting elections on its own. It doesn't need RSS. After the results were announced, it announced many researchers and activists had also claimed that it has happened because of the kind of sour relations those have now emerged between BJP and RSS. But now we are seeing as to how BJP is trying its best to bridge the gap by taking the various decisions, which is certainly going to please the top functionary of RSS. What we are also given to understand is that the top government leaders and various top ministers have welcomed this move. Though the Congress party continues to cry foul, they claim that the government has done this to please the bosses of RSS. We'll have to see how the controversy is further going to ignite, but certainly the RSS has welcomed this move. RSS, in fact, has said that the decision was taken by the then government of the Congress party because of its political reasons. And now, when the current government has decided to lift a ban which was imposed 58 years back, it is certainly going to strengthen the democracy.
All right. Thanks very much, Piyush, for joining us with those details. So Piyush telling us that, yes, this was perhaps a move done to kind of appease and reach out to the RSS at a time when clearly all hasn't been well between the Sangh and the BJP. But let me just break down for you what happened in 1966 that prompted the decision of banning RSS members from being a part or indulging in government activities, being a part of the bureaucracy. Essentially, in November 1966, there was an anti-cow slaughter protest that took place in Parliament, outside the Parliament premises, which also the RSS had a big role to play in. There were several members of the RSS, the Sangh, who were a part of this protest. It was essentially an RSS-backed protest march. Several right-wing groups had come together for this particular protest, held very close to Parliament premises. All hell broke loose. Things took a chaotic turn, and when it turned violent, almost a riot-like situation that broke out near Parliament, 7 people even died because police had to resort to firing because of the chaos that had unfolded. It was after this that the Indira Gandhi-led government, which was just about 2 weeks after this had happened, decided to go ahead and ban not just the RSS but also the Jamaat-e-Islami. Both these groups, the decision was taken that none of their members will be allowed to be a part of active bureaucracy as well. And joining us here on India Today is Mr. Ratan Sharda, author, analyst and an active member of the RSS as well. Mr. Sharda, thank you so much for your time. First of all, sir, a lot of questions right now about the timing of the decision. After 58 years, it's finally been done. I'm sure you'll say better late than never. But there are also a lot of questions on why now. Whether this is being done now to kind of appease the Sangh amid all of the murmurs of a growing rift, sir.
Yeah, RSS need to be appeased, first of all. And also remember that BJP was in power for last 10 years. RSS could have asked this law to be repealed. Actually, RSS doesn't give very big importance to this particular act because it has been misused once in a while by the Congress government especially, or communists. But generally just let it lay. That is the condition. And to tell you the truth, this particular act has been copied from British, which was brought in 1932 in Central Province. And then it was defeated in cut motion by Congress members. And then it was again resurrected in 1948 by Congress during ban. And thousands of people lost their employment and their teacher's job, etc. And that is still being used, but very rarely. In fact, there is judgment in January 2024 where a Himachal Pradesh government tried to transfer a RSS person because he was RSS person, and High Court made a very stinging remark. It said that this is patently arbitrary, illegal, and violative of Article 14 of the Constitution. So maybe RSS should have taken it first and brought it to notice of BJP, but since RSS has not even taken it seriously earlier on, so it has been there. That's all I can say. BJP doesn't need to appease RSS because there is no such issue.
But Mr. Sharda, I come back to the same question of why now? 58 years, why now in 2024 is this move being made? The Modi government didn't do this in the last 9 years.
Why it could have, it could have been done by Atalji government also,
Sure.
right? Even then it was not done. It could have been in Janata Party government also, not done. In fact, during Janata Party formation, the Janata Party leaders asked RSS whether you want to put a demand for removal of sections and ban on RSS. They said, no, first you win the election, we will see about the ban. And RSS didn't bother about the ban on itself, but went ahead and supported Janata Party. So RSS's viewpoint of the society and the worldly affairs and the nation are very different from petty-minded Congress.
So let me also tell you about the politics that's playing out right now on this, Mr. Sharda. The Congress is criticizing the move, saying that those with clear leanings with an agenda will be now part of the bureaucracy, will be taking decisions. They're saying that this is an attempt to saffronize bureaucracy. What's your response to the Congress?
Well, RSS is not a banned organization. Congress tried it 3 times, failed. Congress tried all the laws, it failed. And it is facing the brunt of the people's anger that is not in power for the last 15 years. For them to talk like this rather rich, because RSS people are nationalist people. They are legally member of RSS. They are not doing anything illegal. Whatever they have done is for the good of the society, whether it's service, whether it's to be with the forces at the front when the war takes place, whether it's partition when RSS people lost their lives defending Sikhs and Hindus in the partition riots. There are so many, things I can tell you. On Congress, hate for BJP, RSS goes much before this happened. Sardar, in fact, when the Congress were getting very angry with RSS for its popularity, they passed a resolution on 13th October 1947 saying that RSS should be destroyed or we will destroy it like we did it with terror in 1942, and BJK said it's enough. The state level camp was cancelled in 1948, 7 January, before Gandhiji's incident happened. They passed a resolution asking for strong action at RSS. Same thing happened at the time of even Nehru said the same thing. While Patel said you cannot crush Sangh, they are patriots. There is 6 Jan 1948. But Nehru said I'll crush RSS in 1947 before the assassination of Gandhiji. D.P. Mishra himself told on 19 December 1947 that it's childish to imagine that RSS will overthrow Congress with dandas. So this hate for RSS comes basically from the fear that RSS was so popular after partition because of the hate, because of the failure of Congress to protect Hindus and avoid partition, that they went on to somehow stop RSS. They failed by various means, so they can say anything. Why RSS cannot take part in government decisions? Why RSS cannot do something like this?
No, so sir, you've listed, of course, multiple instances where RSS, there was a crackdown on, banned, and you're saying it was motivated. But you look at the specific instance of 1966. Why was it done? It was done because there was violence that broke out, Mr. Ratan Sharda. So the Congress says that, there was violence, and that's why what Indira Gandhi did then was completely justified against the RSS.
See, Congress has the misfortune of using law to suppress the people. You remember 1948, thousands of Brahmins and RSS volunteers were butchered in Pune, Sangli, Kolhapur, etc. We don't know the numbers yet because news were totally, stopped. Again, in 1984, when these riots happened, Rajiv Gandhi said, "Ped girta hai to kuch hota hai." So these are the kind of approach of Congress, which believes in crushing opposition even with violence. They can refer anything, but their own copybook is filled with anger, filled with all kind of approaches to destroy people. In fact, they went on to make Muslim League a secular party when it was in the dumps after partition and made it a part of Kerala coalition. That's still happening. Now they are dictating the terms. So I don't give very much importance to Congress arguments because Congress is frustrated. Congress has failed to stop RSS all these years. So nothing will work in their favor if whatever they do.
My last question to you, Mr. Ratan Sharda, keeping aside the politics, in general, isn't it ideal that a babu or a bureaucrat has no leanings or association with any outfit? Would you be okay, for example, if someone who's a member of the Jamaat-e-Islami is also a serving bureaucrat?
There are already bureaucrats who did namaz in the office. They try to convert people. The cases are going against them. There are certified leftists who have worked in Congress government earlier during the Indira Gandhi period, Nehru period, and again during UPA period when very respected card holders and urban Naxal were part of NSC, which had no power. You can't compare because
No, but Mr. Sharda, Jamaat-e-Islami was banned in 1966.
They had no sense at all. Whether Jamaat-e-Islami was banned for what reason, Congress for RSS for what reason, today that is not the discussion. But are you saying that RSS as a social organization does not have a place in the Indian polity? Are you saying that leftists can have a polity? People who act on the Naxal violence can be part of the government, but an organization totally tied to non-violence, even as per constitution, they cannot take part in the government?
Okay. All right. Mr. Ratan Sharda, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining us. You put forward your viewpoint on what you think about this decision. And clearly at this point, the RSS is saying that, look, there's no problem, no harm whatsoever in allowing us to be a part of the bureaucracy. And 1966, the ban that was taken, the decision that was taken by the then Congress government was clearly motivated. But there is, of course, a big political showdown over this that we'll continue to track. We're cutting across to breaking news coming in. All right, let's get you the latest on the big showdown over NEET. We saw it playing out in Parliament earlier today with Rahul Gandhi and Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan taking on each other. And now Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has taken to social media to lash out at Rahul Gandhi and Akhilesh Yadav in particular, both leaders who spoke in Parliament today and raised questions of the government. Dharmendra Pradhan has claimed that Rahul Gandhi is shedding crocodile tears and has highlighted paper leaks that happened under the UPA's watch as well. Now, Dharmendra Pradhan has followed that up by saying that the Congress government failed to stop these malpractices, a point that he made in Parliament as well. After Rahul Gandhi said that our education system has been completely compromised, you had Dharmendra Pradhan hitting back, saying that it was the Congress that actually compromised our education system, and now has also said that Rahul Gandhi is shedding crocodile tears on this issue. Let's play out for you also what exactly happened in Parliament earlier today.
Now, the minister has blamed everybody except himself. Right? I don't even think he understands the fundamentals of what is going on here. There are millions of students in this country who are extremely concerned at what is going on and who are convinced that the Indian examination system is a fraud. That is what is at stake here. If you're rich and if you have money, you can buy the Indian examination system. And by the way, and this is the same feeling that the people in the opposition have. As this is a systemic issue, what exactly are you doing to fix this issue at a systemic level?
Yes.
That's the first question.
मेरे जो शिक्षा है, मेरे जो संस्कार है, मेरे जो सामाजिक जीवन है, मेरे को मेरे राज्य की, मेरे सूबे की जनता की स्वीकृति मिली है। मैं किसी की, मेरे बौद्धिक और मेरे संस्कार की सर्टिफिकेट मेरे को सारी सदन में किसी से नहीं चाहिए। देश की प्रजातंत्र में चुन के मेरे नेता प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी को प्रधानमंत्री की भूमिका दिया है। मैं उनकी निर्णय से यहाँ उत्तर दे रहा हूँ सदन को। बाकी ये कहना चिल्लाने से सच झूठ नहीं हो जाएगा साहब। ये जो कहा गया देश की अभी की एग्जामिनेशन सिस्टम रबिश है सर, इससे दुर्भाग्यजनक बयान देश की नेता प्रतिपक्ष का कुछ नहीं हो सकता है सर। मैं कठोर शब्द से इसको निंदा करता हूं सर। जिन्होंने रिमोट से सरकारें चलाई है, 2010 में 3 बिल आया था सर शिक्षा सुधार के लिए। उन्हीं की पार्टी के नेता आदरणीय कपिल सिब्बल साहब 3 बिल लाए थे। उसमें से एक बिल था एजुकेशन, उसमें एक बिल था प्रोहिबिशन ऑफ अनफेयर प्रैक्टिस बिल 2010, जिसके उद्देश्य एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन में माल प्रैक्टिस को बंद करना। सर, मेरे सरकार की हिम्मत है, अभी हमने पब्लिक एग्जामिनेशन की रेगुलरिटीज में बिल लाए, कानून बनाए। क्या मजबूरी था कांग्रेस पार्टी की? क्या मजबूरी था नेता प्रतिपक्ष की?
Piyush Mishra is joining us live with more details on this. Piyush, even as the government has repeatedly been cornered on the issue of NEET, they've now taken a stand against the Congress. And it's clear now that the Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan is going to be leading the counter, the fight back, saying that there were many such paper leaks, such scams that took place in the UPA era. All right, apologies. We don't have Piyush just yet with us. But at this point, we played out for you some of the highlights of the Parliament debate that took place earlier today, as the opposition has been taking on the Modi government on the issue of NEET on the same day that the Supreme Court also has been hearing this matter. All right, with that news break, I'm slipping into a short break here on India Today. Coming up on the other side, we'll get you details of what the Supreme Court had to say about the controversial covered yatra diktat, as the Supreme Court has now put a hold on the Yogi government's decision.
Just came around to say hello. I just came around to say hello. Motorola Razr 50 Ultra. Flip the script.
Hello, Moto. Just came around to say hello. I'm so fly. You took a nosedive. Careful when you play on my level. For you it's so. Hey, hello.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra. Flip the script.
Hello, Moto.
Join us as we explain the impact of the first budget of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's third term.
Your investments, your future. Watch how the budget drives India's Atmanirbhar markets.
From taxes to healthcare, from Manrega to Ayushman Bharat, we bring you all the policy moves.
Get expert insights on how Nirmala Sitharaman's 7th budget affects your finances.
Decode the big numbers and the new policies shaping our nation's future. Tune in to Business Today for Modinomics 3.0 live on Budget Day.
Welcome back. Over the last 1 week, a controversial order passed by the Yogi government and then replicated in other states, saying that the names of owners outside shops must be put out along the entire covered yatra route, had stoked a massive controversy. This now came up in the Supreme Court today, and that very diktat has been put on hold. The Supreme Court has mandated that all shops, all eateries must put out a list of the food items they serve. But no, there's no need for them to mention the name of the owner. The opposition has lauded the top court order. And let's get you details now in our next report of all the reactions coming in.
In a big blow to the Yogi government in Uttar Pradesh, the display name diktat, which triggered a big political storm in UP, has been put on hold by the Supreme Court. The top court on Monday issued an interim order staying guidelines that asked food joints in UP on the route of the Kamar Yatra to display their names. The court stated that owners should only display the kind of food served in their eateries and not their names.
Even before this diktat or such orders by the administration, they have been following the tradition, because all it's about the purity of this yatra and believing the faith of, regardless of their religion. Perhaps there was no necessity of issuing such diktats. And Supreme Court right in saying that in case there is a concern, let these dhaba owners disclose what sort of food they serve. Now, because these yatris, forget about administration, I don't know whether these officials, the netas, have even made ever any Kamar Yatra, because those who are the yatris, the devotees, they know what they practice.
Even the Kamariyas stated that seeing the owner's name and what religion they belong to doesn't bother them.
कभी ऐसा भी हुआ कि किसी दूसरे धर्म का व्यक्ति आपको खाना परोस रहा है या वो ढाबा चला रहा है तो आपको ऐसा मन में आया कि आपकी सात्विकता भंग हो गई?
बोले हम ये सब तो देखते नहीं है, लेकिन ऐसा मन में ख्याल भी नहीं आता हमारे। वैसे तो
खाने पर जब आप आते हैं ढाबे पर, क्या उनसे पूछते हैं लहसुन प्याज का खाना है या सात्विक है, या वो बोलते हैं कि हमने कैसा बनाया है?
वो खुद ही बता देते हैं कि लहसुन प्याज और नॉनवेज हमारे यहाँ पे कुछ भी नहीं है।
The Supreme Court's order was hailed by the opposition, which has vehemently opposed this diktat.
जिस समय मुझे जानकारी मिली थी कि इस तरह का सरकार का आचरण है, उसी समय मैंने कहा था कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट स्वयं इस बात को संज्ञान में ले। जो सांप्रदायिक राजनीति खत्म हुई है, ये सांप्रदायिक राजनीति का दिया फड़फड़ा रहा है, इसलिए फैसला ले रहे हैं।
ये विभाजनकारी है समाज में, संविधान की मंशा के खिलाफ है, रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन के खिलाफ है। ये समाज में विभाजन पैदा करेगा, सिर्फ धर्म के आधार पे नहीं, जात के आधार पे।
हम शुरू से कह रहे हैं कि आर्टिकल 17 का वायलेशन है, अनटचेबिलिटी को प्रमोट कर रही है। क्या है तमाशा ये, आप कैसे करेंगे?
The move drew a backlash not only from the opposition, but also from some of the BJP's allies, including the RLD and Ajit Pawar's NCP. They were among the allies who wanted Yogi to roll back the diktat.
इस इशू पे हमारे प्रदेश अध्यक्ष बोल चुके हैं, वही पार्टी का स्टैंड है। और जो कावड़ लेके जाते हैं उनकी सेवा में सभी लोग लगते हैं। ना तो कावड़ लेके जाने वाला व्यक्ति कोई पहचान करता है, जो सेवादार है उनकी वो एक आशीर्वाद की तरह वो प्राप्त करते हैं, ग्रहण करते हैं और आगे चलते हैं अपने काम।
With this order, has the Supreme Court put aside politics of religion? With Shrishti Ojha in Delhi and Ashutosh Mishra in Muzaffarnagar, UP, Bureau Report, India Today.
And with that, I'm slipping into a short break here on 6 p.m. Prime. Coming up on the other side, we'll get you all the details about what's playing out in the electrifying US election. Joe Biden is out. Is Kamala Harris in? Who's going to be taking on Donald Trump? We'll get you more on that in just a bit.
हमारे साथी सुप्रीम कोर्ट गए थे, उनको बधाई कि उन्होंने जनहित के एक बड़े मुद्दे पर जो है सरकार को गलत करने से रोका। और हम तो सरकार की सद्बुद्धि के लिए अपील करते रहते हैं, प्रार्थना भी करते हैं। अब पता नहीं हमारी प्रार्थना लखनऊ पहुंच पा रही है।
आपको लगता है कि इस फैसले से रोजगार जो लोगों को बहुत प्रभावित हुआ था, क्या आगे होगा भी?
अच्छा सोचो, जैसे आपने भी सुना और मैंने भी सुना कि निकाल दिए गए कई दुकानों से जो है कर्मचारी वहां, तो उन कर्मचारियों को नया रोजगार कहाँ से मिल जाएगा सरकार, और उनके परिवार का क्या होगा? प्रति व्यक्ति आए तो हम समझते हैं ना क्या है। तो जिनके पर रोजगार नहीं बचेगा, उनके बच्चों क्या होगा, उनकी पत्नियों क्या होगा, उनकी बहनों का, माओं का, उनके तमाम तरह से जो उनकी जरूरत है उनका क्या होगा? सरकार को इसका जवाब है। अगर आप हटा रहे हो तो कुछ दो ना। आप अगर किसी का रोजगार छीन रहे हो तो कुछ तो दो ना 20 दिन में। तो आप करना क्या चाहते हैं?
इस वक्त हमारे साथ समाजवादी पार्टी के सांसद धर्मेंद्र रहते हैं। धर्मेंद्र जी, जो फैसला अंतरिम फैसला जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का है कांवड़ यात्रा वाले ऑर्डर को लेकर, उसका आपकी क्या राय है?
नहीं, माननीय न्यायालय ने बहुत शानदार फैसला दिया है और न्यायालय के आभारी है, क्योंकि न्यायालय को एहसास है इस बात का कि प्रदेश की सरकारें देश के अंदर सांप्रदायिक माहौल रखना चाहती है। इसको रोकना न्यायालय की सतत जिम्मेदारी भी है और माननीय न्यायालय के फैसले में पूरे देशवासियों के दिलों में खुशी है।
लेकिन एक चीज है कि अब खाना किस तरह का परोसा जा रहा है, क्या क्या है खाने में, ये बताना होगा।
तो मेनू है, उसमें कौन बात है? तो रेस्टोरेंट में क्या हमारा बिना किसी रेस्टोरेंट में बिना मेनू देखे खाना खाते हैं क्या बिना देखे खाना खाते हो क्या? बिना अपनी पसंदीदा खाना ऑर्डर किए खाते हो क्या? तो सब कहने की बात है।
नाम नहीं है, बताना होगा।
नाम से क्या मतलब है भाई? जिसको जो खाना होगा, जो ऑर्डर देगा वही तो खाना परोसा जाएगा।
क्या लगता है आपको सरकार की पहले मंशा क्या थी इस ऑर्डर को लेकर?
मंशा केवल नफरत फैलाना, केवल भाई से भाइयों को लड़ाना और अपनी सरकारों की सुरक्षा, क्योंकि लोगों का विश्वास उठ चुका है ये सरकारें बचाने के लिए चल रहा है।
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Meltdown in US poll battlefield. Biden quits US presidential race. Donald Trump mocks crooked Biden. Biden, but who'll replace? Kamala natural frontrunner? White House war just went critical.
It's the election that's witnessing the biggest and most dramatic twists and turns. The latest one, which many would have said was just about to happen, is that President Joe Biden has decided to step down from the presidential race and has also gone ahead and endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris to be the Democratic candidate against former President Donald Trump. Now remember that while Biden has gone ahead and endorsed Kamala, it's easier said than done, because now she has to be nominated officially by the Democrats, which hasn't happened just yet, which is why there are questions about Trump versus who right now in America. But as far as Biden goes, this was waiting to happen. Things have been building up over the course of the last 4 years, when the incumbent president stumbled, fumbled, but remained defiant right up till now.
It was a tumultuous weekend at the Delaware beach house of Joe Biden. He met his close confidants and family members before ending his re-election campaign on Sunday, 21st July. He announced his decision in a letter posted on social media. In a subsequent post, he endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris to be the Democrat Party's candidate. It wasn't an easy decision, especially when the 81-year-old US president has remained defiant over the growing chorus for months and days. The decision comes after fellow Democrats lost faith in his mental ability and his ability to beat Donald Trump. The reason he announced his re-election bid? That went south quick and fast since the 27 June debate debacle.
I don't walk as easy as I used to. I don't speak as smooth as I used to. I don't debate as well as I used to. But I know what I do know. I know how to tell the truth. I know right from wrong. And I know how to do this job. I know how to get things done. And I know, like millions of Americans know, when you get knocked down, you get back up.
It's been 5 decades in politics, of which 36 years in the US Senate. Joe Biden won the highest political office after serving 8 years as vice president to Barack Obama. But since his ascension to the Oval Office, there have been a number of incidents where he stumbled and fumbled. Whether climbing up the stairs or down, he would trip, fall, get up and fall again. As the President of the United States, he kept the show going with a defiant smile, even when he was down with COVID in the middle of the raging pandemic. He led the country through a tough time, but then he tripped and fell after handing out the last diploma at a graduation ceremony at the US Air Force Academy. Within days of this, he startled all with a verbal slip-up. President Biden said that Russian President Vladimir Putin was losing war in Iraq when he meant to say Ukraine.
To what extent has Vladimir Putin been weakened by recent events? It's hard to tell, but he's clearly losing the war in Iraq. He's losing the war at home. And he has become a bit of a pariah around the world.
In February this year, he mistakenly referred to Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi as the leader of Mexico.
As you know, initially, the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow humanitarian material to get in. I talked to him. I convinced him to open the gate.
He was making remarks on a special counsel report concerning his handling of classified documents, and that referred to his memory as poor, which he rebuked in an angry rebuttal.
My memory is not good. My memory is fine. My memory, take a look at what I've done since I've become president. None of you thought I could pass any of the things I got passed. How'd that happen? You know, I guess I just forgot what was going on.
The presidential race was still in its early stage. He joked and cast away all fear and conjecture over his health and mental abilities.
Well, they think I look too young. They'd raised $500 million.
But then at the crucial 27 June debate with Republican presidential candidate, former US President Donald Trump, not only did the incumbent president fumble, he was visibly rattled.
If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million, billion dollars, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
His office went into damage control mode. It was too late. Within a fortnight of the debate, the US president made gaffes that opened floodgates of criticism. Biden mistakenly referred to President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, as President Putin before correcting himself.
Russia will not prevail in this war. Ukraine will prevail in this war, and we'll stand with them every single step of the way. That's what the compact says, loudly and clearly. And now I want to hand it over to the President of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. He's going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it. Anyway, Mr. President.
I'm better.
You are a hell of a lot better. Look.
The very same night, he misidentified his Vice President Kamala Harris as Trump.
Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be Vice President, but I think she was not qualified to be President. So let's start there.
Right after this, as his rivals started to tear into his campaign, major donors withdrew millions of dollars. And there grew opposition from Democrats concerned about Biden's ability to compete against Donald Trump. Daily polls showed his chances of winning a second term were rapidly declining. The US president decided to step down from the race for White House. Bureau Report, India Today.
So is Kamala Harris then the chosen one for the Democrats? Right now, there's no official announcement from the Democrats, but here's a look at who's really come out to back her. The biggest endorser for Kamala Harris, and that's got everything working to her advantage, is that Joe Biden is endorsing Kamala, saying in his statement to offer full support and endorsement to Kamala Harris, to his vice president. Besides that, you have Hillary and Hill Clinton, who followed up Biden's statement, saying we will do whatever we can to support Kamala. Similarly, Ro Khanna, congressman, has said Kamala as candidate will be a jolt of energy to the Democrats, to the Democratic Party. Now, besides this, you also have Josh Shapiro, who's being pegged, if Kamala Harris is chosen as the presidential face of the Democrats, to be the vice president face. And so he said, we'll do everything I can to make Kamala win. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The Obamas, Barack and Michelle Obama, haven't endorsed Kamala Harris just yet. In a detailed statement, they said Biden is a patriot of the highest order. They constantly went ahead and heaped praise on Biden, but did not endorse Kamala Harris. Similarly, Nancy Pelosi, ex-House Speaker, reportedly the other person besides the Obamas to pile pressure on Biden to step out, has not endorsed Kamala Harris, saying Biden, one of the most consequential US presidents, but again, no word on Kamala Harris. But at this point, there's no doubt it is advantage Vice President Kamala Harris, that she is the front runner as far as the Democrats go to take over from Joe Biden as being the presidential candidate and therefore challenge Donald Trump. Let's get you details of Kamala Harris, her role as Vice President, and how previously when she tried to bid for the presidential role, didn't quite go her way.
Because they're not happy with themselves. I'm talking about things that...
A new chapter in American politics could be written soon. Kamala Harris is being considered as a strong candidate as the Democrats' presidential pick following Joe Biden's endorsement. Harris has said she was honored to have President Joe Biden's endorsement as the nominee of the Democratic Party for the presidential election, and asserted that her aim was to unite the nation in defeating Donald Trump and his extreme Project 2025 agenda. Harris, the current vice president, has made history as the first woman and the first African American and the first Asian American to hold this office. Harris will definitely be fancying her chances, particularly as she lost out in 2019 after Democrats chose Biden over her.
Thank you all so very much.
1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations, and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work.
Since then, as vice president, Kamala hasn't had much of a spotlight on her. She has created history, yes, but her term as Biden's number 2 has been quite inconsequential. Kamala Harris's journey is deeply rooted in her diverse heritage. Born to an Indian mother, Shyamala Gopalan, and a Jamaican father, Kamala's Indian roots have always been a big talking point in India. It comes down now to whether Kamala can attract the necessary funding. She's got Biden's endorsement, but there are many who don't agree with the choice.
There should be no question in your mind that if Kamala is allowed to be our president and commander-in-chief, she'll be the maidservant of this queen of warmongers, the head of this elitist cabal of warmongers that has gotten us into this place. They're the ones who've been calling the shots behind Joe Biden's presidency. They would continue to call the shots if Kamala Harris is president. And where have they led us? To the brink of war with multiple countries in all parts of the world, and closer to the brink of nuclear war and Armageddon now than ever before.
If not, on this...
Will Kamala Harris be the chosen one for the Democrats? She's definitely got the edge, but make no mistake, it will be an uphill climb for her to ensure she runs a successful campaign in such a short span of time.
I will not be the last.
I think she's not going to do anything about the national deficit. I've never heard her speak about the chronic disease epidemic, I think she's a product of the corporate control of our democracy. And she's one of the authors of, in terms of civil rights, she has one of the worst civil rights record of any public official.
Bureau Report, India Today.
That's all we have time for in this edition of 6 p.m. Prime, but I am leaving you with how social media reacted to the news of Joe Biden deciding to opt out of the upcoming presidential race and Kamala Harris's perhaps potential entry. The meme fest was on and how? I'm leaving you with this report.
A lazy Sunday afternoon in America rocked by the biggest Biden announcement. And the statement on social media immediately set it on fire. X was full of memes about Biden, including this one, showing Obama tossing Biden into a water body, calling it a scene right out of the Democratic Party. Meanwhile, the internet believes Kamala is ready and how. Republicans are even sharing video montages now of Kamala's laugh. And if you're wondering how Trump is reacting to Biden's exit, the internet has that covered too. This US election has given a whole lot of fodder for meme buffs. Bureau Report, India Today.